Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer 3 video. Today we're going to talk about the base game, more specifically which 4 races are more than likely to be the first ones available. Total War Warhammer 3 is the third and final game of the Warhammer series, which has seen many races from the Warhammer Fantasy franchise, primarily on the 8th edition standing, implemented into the game. With that being said, there are currently 2 remaining armies from Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition that have still not been implemented into the game. And it is more than likely that these 2 races would be 2 of the starting 4. Just a quick note here, it's obviously not confirmed that we're going to be getting 4 playable races at the beginning of Total War Warhammer 3. We're only speculating here given the fact that Game 1 and Game 2 both had 4 playable races at launch, not counting any pre-order DLCs of course. One of the remaining races to have an 8th edition army book, and a very popular one at that, is the Demons of Chaos. It's still not yet known if we're going to see them as a united, undivided front, or as 4 separate factions as monogods. There are many people in the fanbase both for either monogod factions or undivided faction, but as of yet we're still not aware what route the Total War team want to go with this. The last remaining 8th edition faction is the Ogre Kingdoms, an army based primarily on monstrous infantry and monstrous beasts. This is an army where you'll be fielding small squads of elite units instead of hordes. After these 2 races have been implemented, there are no remaining 8th edition factions, so now we'd have to start theory crafting on which of the races that are still not implemented in the game, but still has enough units or established lore to actually warrant them being in the Total War Warhammer game to actually see. Still, we can make a few educated guesses. More recently, we've seen some new lore being created for Kislev by Games Workshop, the company that actually owns the Warhammer Fantasy IP. They've created a new unit and are starting to flesh out the lore for a new game called Warhammer The Old World, which is the revival of Warhammer Fantasy. It's very tinfoil hatty at the moment, but it can be assumed that this actually might be linked to Total War Warhammer, seeing as Kislev has still not been implemented into Total War Warhammer, and the official army for Kislev in Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition was a supplement. It wasn't really a full army, it was only around a few pages big, and it wasn't that impressive. Games Workshop specifically mentioned that they were creating new elite units and so on, so it looks like they might actually be working with Creative Assembly on this. It's more or less safe to assume that Kislev will eventually be a playable faction, so it's very much likely that we'll see them as one of the 4 playable base races. With that, now we look towards a race which had its own army book in 6th edition, but was also featured in an expansion to 8th edition. These are the Chaos Dwarves. Chaos Dwarves are a huge fan favourite, and they had 2 different visual distinct styles. In 6th edition they had a very big hat Mesopotamian type of look, and then in 8th edition they had a very drastic visual change, where they had more of a steampunky Iron Warrior style, so it really depends on what Creative Assembly, with the permission from Games Workshop I'm assuming, want to go with this. I know the fans prefer the older look, and to be honest I do too, but it's very important to note that at the end of the day this is Games Workshop's baby, so they're gonna probably have a lot of say in this. Now the reason why I believe that these 4 races will be the first 4 playable ones is rather simple. The Demons of Chaos seemed to be all but confirmed when they announced that they were actually working on the 3rd game, with the end note on the blogspot basically saying something along the lines that it was going to be utter chaos. The Ogre Kingdoms also had a fully fledged out roster with their last 8th edition army book, so Creative Assembly already have 2 armies that have fully fledged background, fully fledged units and recently done armies. Well, recently by 8th edition standard. I mean, 8th edition came out a long time ago, but still, it's the most recent. Seeing the Ogre Kingdoms added into the game also presents a strong reason on why the Chaos Dwarves would be next. If the map expands to that of the lands of the Ogre Kingdoms, they'd also have to go over the Darklands, which is the base of operation for the Chaos Dwarves. It would be rather silly if we could actually send troops through the Darklands fighting random monsters or any Chaos factions and so on, but not Chaos Dwarves. And now lastly Kislev. So far we've seen 2 evil races, 1 neutral race, and now we need a good race. If the game is going to be based largely around Chaos, then who would be the better option for a good faction than Kislev? Kislev is the first line of defense when any Chaos invasion rises from the north and starts making its way down south. While in truth Kislev most times actually gets destroyed, they are the ones who protect the old world the most, trying to hold back the incredible hordes whilst also sending news to their allies requesting aid and also for them to prepare themselves. Honestly, out of all the factions that could be possible as a good faction, I think Kislev is the strongest contender. So these are the 4 races that I believe would be the 4 base races for Total War Warhammer 3. Naturally, there are many choices of races and factions that they could add in instead. However, seeing as these races and factions actually have their own army books or supplements, it would be a lot easier in terms of development to create something that's already been established, rather than looking at minor races and factions that have little to no lore or little to no established units and would require a lot more effort from Creative Assembly and Games Workshop's part. Maybe those would be races and factions that could be implemented as DLCs. But what do you guys think about these choices? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the game would actually be released with different races and factions as their baseline races? Let me know your thoughts and let's start a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description below, we have various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team and talk to us about anything, really. Warhammer tabletop, Warhammer games, just anything in general with Warhammer. We also do play other stuff other than Warhammer, just saying. Also in the description below is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Using our special link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons, your support means the world to us. Honestly, it's amazing that people want to help a small channel grow and get to a higher level of content quality. A big thank you to our patron Gibraltar LUSC for subscribing to us at our Fane level. Honestly, mate, you're super cool. And finally, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, commenting the videos. It's honestly amazing to see the channel grow so much over the last recent months and being able to talk to so many Warhammer fans worldwide. It's honestly really cool. There is a lot of love for the Warhammer Fantasy universe, and if it wasn't for you guys in Creative Assembly, we wouldn't see the return of Warhammer Fantasy as Warhammer the Old World. So, a big thank you to all of you guys. But with that, my friends, once again, thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.